Here are only 3 ways to make money in crypto no matter the market. Let me ask you something. How many times have you seen people online bragging about how many millions they've made in crypto? Sure, it looks appealing for obvious reasons, but here's the brutal truth. Most of it is fake. In reality, the vast majority of people in crypto lose money. And that's not because the market is rigged, maybe just a little bit, but because they simply don't understand that there are only 3 real ways through which you can actually make money in crypto. That's it. Nothing less, nothing more. Everything else, meme coins, airdrops, NFTs, it's all noise. And once you understand them, you'll stop chasing the hype and start building actual wealth. So, in this video, I'm going to be breaking them down one by one. I'll help you understand the psychology behind them and how you can manage risk effectively so you don't have to get wiped out the next time the market dips. If you're ready, let's go. Why do most people lose money in crypto? Let's start with the cold hard fact. According to one recent study, over 84% of retail crypto traders lose money in their first year of trading. And the worst part, nearly 6 in 10 new traders, or about 58% of all traders, lose almost all their money in the first 12 months. Even amongst long-term investors, this trend shows little improvement. A study by the Bank of International Settlement found that the majority of Bitcoin investors made losses on their Bitcoin holdings. Why is that the case? Because most people don't have a system. They quickly jump from one strategy to another. They trade the first week and then panic sell the next week when the market dips. But here's the good news. Once you understand that these 3 timeless paths to making money in crypto, it'll be a game changer for you. You'll stop chasing the hype and start actually playing the game like the professionals. Method number 1. Investing. Let's start with the simplest and arguably the most powerful way to make money in crypto, which is just investing. What investing means is simply that you buy fundamentally strong assets and hold them for the long term. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm talking about at least a few years, which can extend to a few decades. But when we're talking about investing, we're talking about holding a fundamentally strong asset and not chasing overhyped coins. Then let the market do its thing. Think about the people who bought Bitcoin when it was under $500 or Ethereum when it was under $100. They weren't there timing the market, and they weren't there for the short-term gains. They were the early adopters betting on this technology, and their bet paid off big time. But why does investing only work when you hold fundamentally strong assets? The reason is simple. Hype fades away, but the real ones stick around. The same thing happened in the dot-com bubble. There were companies that looked good on the surface, but weren't fundamentally strong, and they were the ones who disappeared. And the companies with good technologies and good products are the ones who stuck around, and some of them to be the biggest companies in the world, like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon. Here's an example. At the start of 2017, Bitcoin was around $1,000. But at the end of 2017, it peaked to almost $20,000. That's a 20x gain in just 1 year. Fundstrat found that the vast majority of Bitcoin's yearly gains come from just the top 10 days of the year. Let's take a look at the most recent full year of data in 2024. The best 10 trading days alone would have returned 52%. But when you strip away those 10, leaving the remaining 355 days, your returns would have been negative 15%. That means if you simply missed those handful of days, you might as well just sat out the whole entire year. Timing doesn't just matter, it's the most crucial part of investing. So yes, holding matters, but holding and missing out on the right days is almost the same as if you're not holding at all. And don't think that you could time this perfectly and get in and get out in those 10 days. It's pretty much impossible to perfectly time it unless you have a magic crystal ball. And if you did have this magic crystal ball, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. So, since it's impossible to perfectly time those 10 days, the best strategy is just to simply hold and do nothing. And that's why sticking to a long-term plan is what always works. So, how do you win as an investor? Focus on fundamentals. Look at cryptocurrencies with actual users, strong teams, and tokens with clear use cases. Dollar cost average. Instead of guessing when to buy, you invest a fixed amount regularly, and it removes the emotion and the guesswork. Ignore the noise. You have to hold your ground. There are reasons why investors like Michael Saylor say volatility is the price you pay for performance. However, you should still be fully aware of the risks associated with crypto, which are long drawdowns. Bear markets can last upwards of years. Regulation. Since crypto is a new investment vehicle, government's bans or taxes have yet to be determined. This uncertainty and lack of clarity can lead to significant price drops. Low quality assets. If you're investing into anything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, there's a very good chance that it could go to zero. So if you look at the top 10 coins 5 years ago, or even 2 years ago, it looks vastly different from today. Some of those top 10 coins are now essentially worthless. So in the end, crypto rewards patience. If you believe a project's future and can stomach volatility, this is the path that will accumulate the most amount of wealth. Method number 2, trading. Now let's talk about the second way to make money in crypto. Trading. Trading is where the excitement and danger really begins. It's all about short-term opportunities, as you're not trying to hold it forever. Instead, you're trying to profit from small price movements, essentially buying low and selling high. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Sure, trading involves looking at charts, but it's more about psychology. Most traders actually lose money not because of the lack of skill, but because the lack of emotional control. They don't know when to stop or when to sell, and they're the ones who feel FOMO the most. According to a report by EBC Financial Group, over 70% of retail traders cite that emotional decision-making like fear, greed, revenge trading, and impulsivity are the primary causes of their losses. And when they try to recover their losses or chase the hype, which eventually leads to, you guessed it, more losses. So if you're serious about trading, you have to treat it like a craft. And you can do this by having a clear strategy. You can decide whether you want to be a day trader or a swing trader, because each of them have very different rules. Find out the one that suits you the best by your time management and temperament. Risk management. There is a reason why professional traders only risk 1 to 2% per trade, no matter how confident that they feel. And that's why you have to ensure that you do not enter any trade without proper risk management. Set up stop losses and take profits, because emotions destroy good trades, but automations save them. Record your trades. Keeping a trading journal instills discipline and self-awareness. It's always good to reflect back onto your logs so you can always look back on what you did wrong and what you could improve on. However, you should still be aware of the following when trading. High volatility. Remember, double-digit percentage swings in a single day aren't uncommon. Leverage traps. Using borrow funds can amplify your gains, but it could also amplify losses. Think of leverage like fire. You could do a lot of good, but you can also get burned badly. Emotional burnout. Constantly monitoring charts can destroy your focus. Taking breaks is absolutely necessary. Staring at charts all day will make you perform worse, not better. Trust me. For the vast majority of people, I wouldn't recommend trading. My preference is to still buy and hold, because I am personally not built for this. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Your support really helps this channel grow by reaching more people. I post deep dive educational content like this every single week. Simple, data-backed, and beginner-friendly. Now, back to the video. Method number 3, yield generation. Now let's move into the third method for making money in crypto. And this includes staking, lending, liquidity pools, and a few other terminologies that I'll just lump all together for what I call yield generation. And this is where your assets earn more money for you. You could think of it as interest on savings account. You'll often hear terms like staking, lending, or liquidity pools, and while they all sound fancy in the end, they are all about the same thing: putting your crypto to work to earn you passive income. So let's start with staking. Staking is locking up your tokens to verify transactions, and in return for your support, you earn rewards. All of this requires no work. Just a few clicks and you just let it run. According to CoinLaw, staking returns for major cryptocurrency networks often fall between 3 to 7% range, with networks like Ethereum averaging 3 to 5% and Solana offering 6 to 7%. The second one is lending. With lending, you're using platforms like Aave to lend your crypto out to others to earn interest. Here, returns vary from 2% to 15% APY, depending on the risk and the token that you're choosing. Because of their attractive returns, there's a massive surge in investors opting in for lending protocols like this. As a result, DeFi lending has crossed to over $187 billion in total value locked, which basically means the amount of money that's being put to work. And the last is liquidity pools. Think of it as like the house in the casino. You get a small cut of every single transaction. Now, here's a super simple, oversimplified explanation of a liquidity pool. Think of a big candy bowl. You and your friends all pour candy into the same bowl. Other kids can swap candy from that same bowl anytime. Chocolate for gummies, gummies for chocolate. Because anyone can trade from the bowl instantly, you get a little fee every time someone swaps. And that bowl is called the liquidity pool. none of this comes without risk. As the popularity of lending, staking, and liquidity pool grows, so does the number of smart contract hacks. Sometimes there could be vulnerabilities when participating in these. In 2024 alone, over $2.2 billion was lost in DeFi exploits. So, while you could earn attractive returns by putting your crypto to work, however, risk management is extremely important. Market psychology. But here's the thing that most people don't really talk about. You can master investing, trading, and yield generation, but without the right mindset, you'll still lose money. You see, crypto markets thrive on fear and greed, and unless you understand that, you'll always be reacting. And the reason why this happens is because of the typical investor psychology. Because everyone wants to buy when they see people earning massive profits, but no one wants to buy when prices are declining. Here's how you could have a winning mindset. Number one, detach emotion from the price. Always think long term. Always. As Warren Buffett once said, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. In fact, the crypto fear and greed index is oftentimes a great indicator to look at. When it's in extreme fear, it's usually a good time to buy. Number two, never stop learning. In the end, crypto rewards curiosity and punishes ignorance. Keep learning and exploring the market as there's always something happening. Putting it all together. So now that you know the 3 ways to make money in crypto, how do you actually use them? Here's a simplified framework. Invest 90% of your portfolio in proven assets, and the remaining 10% of your portfolio, that is what I like to call the fun money, to actively trade and do these more risky things. And from the assets that I stake, like Ethereum and Solana, I would stake the entire amount, earning me passive income. And if you want to take one step further, rebalance every few months, and any profits will go into that 90% bucket of proven assets. Otherwise, play the long game and let the market reward you and your trust for your patience. With this balanced approach, you're exposed to both the upside and a protection from the downside, and which is the mix that most professional crypto funds use. Final verdict. If you strip away the hype, the truth is simple. Crypto doesn't change how money is made, it just changes how to access it. Whether you're holding Bitcoin, flipping tokens, staking Solana, you're still playing one of the 3 timeless games. But the right question is, which game are you playing intentionally and which ones are you playing by accident? So now it's your turn. Which of these 3 methods do you use the most or would like to use the most? Don't forget to drop an answer in the comments down below. I love reading all of them. And if this video had helped simplify crypto for you, please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe and share this with a friend who's trying to make money in crypto. Here on this channel, we're not about hype chasing. We're the people who build financial literacy for the next digital era.